Welcome to Shomar Shova on the Daf. She responds to Lui Nishvas Am B'Yaakov Shalom Le'Abbas Yitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Nun Beis. The more the top of Mudalev brings the drasha is Savia Hi Mechalelis. The drasha is that if Pas Kohen is Mezano, she causes Chillul to her father. She noagim bo kodesh noagim bo choil. Kavod noagim bo bizoyon. Omum oru shazu yolad. Oru shazu gidel. He's cursed that he had such a child. And the Gemara goes on and says, Karino, Rishio bar Rishio, Vafilu Rishio bar Tzadiko. You have a child who's a Rasha, you'll say he's a Rasha, son of a Rasha, even though the father is a Tzadik. Keman Kehaitano, like this Tano. The Mordche over here, on this daf, he brings that if a Kohen has a daughter that was either Meimer Das, she left the religion, or Zinso, so then we don't have to give him the kavod of getting his first aliyah and getting the Birkas Hamazon. And so brings the Ramah in Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Kov Ches. He brings the losh of this Mordche because the bitzat ki avia is imechalelas. The Magen Avraham on the spot says that the only time we say avia is mechalelas is only legabe Znus, not legabe avodah zarah. And we see that from our sugya, that a daughter of a Kohen who was mezaneh, she gets treifa. According to Shimon, treifa is chamura. If she did have a desire, she doesn't get treifa, she gets skila. According to Shimon, that's less than treifa. Why? Because the idea of mechalelis you have only baznus. And he brings the Gemara in Ksuvas that tells us that when we kill a daughter is because we say Ru'u gidulim shegidaltim. Look what you raised. And mashma it's specifically for the Aveira of Znus. Says the Magen Avraham, even though the Mordechai mentioned Himir Dato, which means he stopped keeping mitzvahs, says the Magen Avraham, that's because someone who's Meimer Das, she's probably also doing Znus. But the main reason we do the idea of Esaviyas Mechaleles applies to Znus only. And I saw the Rav David Man, Zeichat Livrocho, on the Sefer Di Be'er. He says, David Nifla Moed. He asks, what's the pshat that Chillul, the idea of Chillul, the word Chillul, we find our Gemara, where it brings in two things. You have Chillul Shabbos, and you have Chillul of Znus. The Gemara even has a Havam, that a daughter of a Kohen maybe get punished for Chillul Shabbos, because it's also called Chillul. The Gemara says it's only Znus. The only two averes who call it Chillul is only by Znus and Shabbos. Why? So he explains, Dover Nifla Moed, he says, that the idea of Chillul is when you come and your pirates gather. A person naturally has a fence around him. He's shomer, he's covered, he's guarded in a certain place. When he goes and he breaks the fence, that's called Chillul. And he brings the lashon, even Umasoilom, Rashi brings in Chumash, Godru atzmo min arayis. They fence themselves from an arayis. Naturally, a person has a tendency that he knows arayis is wrong, so he puts a fence, he puts a gader, puts a chayim, puts a wall to stop it. And he quotes the Gemara that we had earlier in Daf Lamed Zayin. The Gemara says, Eish b'noires atoyra yida aleinu suga b'shushanim. We have a fence of roses in order for a person not to be with his wife when she's nida. Because the idea of all the rice, of all the znus, is that you have a fence, you have a natural fence that stops you. And then when a person goes and does the Aveira, except the fact that he's doing an Aveira, he's penetrating, he's breaking out a fence. And that's what's unique about a Kohen. The Kohanim, they belong to Kedusha. The Kohanim are fenced in. The Kohanim, they belong to a higher place. Their fence is supposed to be even more protective. And when a daughter of a Kohen goes and breaks the fence, and that's what he says, the Chillul Shayach for Znus and Shayach for Shabbos. Shabbos is also something which is fenced in. When a person goes and breaks that, it's not just Tam and Aveira. It's that he's going in, penetrating, breaking down the fence. And that's something unique to Znus. By Znus, there's a taina, there's a claim against the father. If the father was mechanech his children, they would know how to still keep the fence around. And if a daughter is mezaneh, that's a edus, that testimony, that there was a problem here in the chinuch of the father, that the father did not give her enough education to know that you can't break this fence. I'll just add to here, the Dvarim Noyoim, that the Vilna Gaon wrote in his Igeres Hagrot to his wife. when the Gra was on his way to Eretz Yisrael, he wrote a letter to his wife with different instructions. And one of the things he said, don't have mercy on the kids in terms of chinuch. You have to educate them. He says because if the children, chas v'shalom, are doing something wrong, it's going to be busha v'tzar and bizoyan olam haba for the parents. And he quotes our Gemara. And the Chavetz Chaim in the Sefer Shem Olam, Chelek Aleph Perek Tet Zayin, he brings this Gra. He wants to say if someone chas v'shalom, his children went l'tarbus ra, so he seemingly doesn't have, he's worse than someone who doesn't have children at all. Because the children cause him to look bad, to have a shame by himself. And he says the eitzah is for this person to support moisdas of Torah, to create his new children, that they will give him his schus for Olam Haba. And although the Gra and the Igeres doesn't speak specifically about Znus, he speaks about any other Averis, but we're learning from the Mogen Avram over here that specifically is Negea to the Aveira of Znus. Anyone who wants to join the Shomachshava email list to WhatsApp, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.